Welcome to Ingoing Radio. This is your host, Perez.filmz, and this is episode 111. The What Are You Laughing At tape.
I love my grandma. Loved her very much. My grandma taught me about a lot. Taught me what religion is. Taught me everything you can know about religion. And one quick story, I'll tell you now. When I graduated from high school, my grandma came to me, gave me a big hug, said, "Anthony, I'm so proud of you. You're my first grandchild to get to go to college. What can I do for you? What can I give you before you go to college?" And I said, "Honestly, Grandma, all I need from you is money." Yeah, I know you guys have never been, but college is expensive. And my grandma said, "Okay, Anthony, I understand." So a couple months go by. It's the end of the summer. I'm packing up my dad's car, getting ready to go to school. And my grandma walks up, says, "Anthony, here, before you leave, take this." And she handed me a brand new Bible, King James Version. And I said, "Thanks, Grandma, that's exactly what we talked about." Got in the car and I went off to school. A couple of weeks go by. I'm hanging out in my dorm room, having a good time, when the phone rings. It's my grandma. She says, "Anthony, just calling to see how college is going." I said, "Grandma, college is the best. I'm having the time of my life. But to be honest, I'm already starting to run low on money. And I could use a little bit, like we talked about." She said, "Okay, Anthony, well, let me ask you this. Have you been reading your Bible?" And I said, "Totally, Grandma. I'm on chapter 4. She said, "Okay, Anthony. Well, then I guess I'll talk to you later." Hung up the phone. A couple of months go by. Now I'm really starting to struggle financially. I'm gonna have to drop out of school if I don't get some money. So I call my grandma in a panic. I say, "Grandma, please, it's Anthony. I'm having the time of my life in college. I love it here. But if I want to graduate, and I do, I need you to send me some money like we talked about." She said, "Well, Anthony, let me ask you this. Have you been reading your Bible?" And I said, "Yes, Grandma. I wish it was longer." And she said, "Okay, Anthony. Well, then I guess I'll talk to you later." Finally, it's the end of the school year. I've got straight A's, but I'm dropping out of college because I have no more money left. And I'm furious. I'm close to tears cleaning out my dorm room. When the phone rings, it's my grandma. She says, "Anthony, I heard you're dropping out of school today. How come?" And I said, "You know goddamn well how come, Grandma. Because you wouldn't give me any money." She said, "Well, Anthony, let me ask you this. Did you read your Bible?" And I just hung up the phone. I was so pissed off. Took everything out of that room. The last thing I took off the shelf, the last thing I took out of that room was that Bible my grandma had given me. Took it off the shelf, held it in my hands, and for the first time, I actually opened it up. And right there, on the very first page, in my grandmother's handwriting, it said, "Fuck you."
That was Anthony Jeselnik. Up next is John Mulaney.
I thought I was going to be murdered my entire childhood. In high school, people were like, "What are your top 3 colleges?" I was like, "Top 3 colleges?" I thought I would be dead in a trunk with my hand hanging out of the taillight by now. I went to college for the whole time. Holy shit, right? I just got a letter from my college, which was fun, because mail, you know? So I open up the letter, and they said, "Hey, John, it's college. You remember?" I said, "Yes, of course." And then they said, how did they phrase it? Then they said, "Give us some money as a gift. We want a gift, but only if it's money." I found this peculiar. Because you see, what had happened, New York, was that when I was a student, you see, I had paid them a tuition money. Every semester, 2 semesters a year, for 4 years. I don't remember exactly what it was, But rounding up, back in 1999 dollars, it was about $15,000 a semester, 2 semesters a year for 4 years. So it was about $30,000 a year for 4 years. So it was about $120,000, okay? So roughly speaking, I gave my college about $120,000, okay? So you might say that I already gave them $120,000, and now you have the audacity to ask me for more money? What kind of a cokehead relative? What kind of a cokehead relative is my college? You spent it already! I gave you more money than the Civil War cost, and you fucking spent it already! Where's my money? I felt like Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life when he's screaming at his Uncle Billy. I was like, where's the money? Where's that money, you fat motherfucker? Where's my money? Stay down on the ground. Stay down on the ground, you motherfucker. That's not the dialogue, but do y'all remember that scene from It's a Wonderful Life? Great movie, Frank Capra, 1946. $120,000. And I have friends I went to college with, and they're like, oh, you should donate and be a good alumnus. And they wear shirts that say school, and it's like, look, if you're an adult still giving money to your college, college is a $120,000 hooker, and you are an idiot who fell in love with her. She's not gonna do anything else for you. It's done. In their letter, they were like, hey, it's been a while since you've given us money. I was like, hey, it's been a while since you've housed and taught me. I thought our transaction was over. I gave you $120,000, and you gave me like a weird cinder block room with a Reservoir Dogs poster on it, and the first real heartbreak of my life, and probably HPV, and then we called it a day. Probably. Also, what did I get for my money? What is college? Stop going till we figure it out. Because I went to college, I have no idea what it was. I went to college, I was 18 years old, I looked like I was 11. I lived like a goddamn Ninja Turtle. I didn't drink water the entire time. I lived on cigarettes and alcohol and Adderall. College was like a 4-year game show called Do My Friends Hate Me or Do I Just Need to Go to Sleep? But instead of winning money, you lose $120,000. By the way, I agreed to give them $120,000 when I was 17 years old with no attorney present. That's illegal. They tricked me. They tricked me like Brendan Dassey on Making a Murderer. They tricked me like poor Brendan. They pulled me out of high school. I was in sweatpants, all confused. 2 guys in clip-on ties are like, come on, son, do the right thing. Sign here and you'll be an English major. I was like, okay. Yes, you heard me, an English major. I paid $120,000. How dare you clap? How dare you clap for the worst financial decision I ever made in my life? I paid $120,000 for someone to tell me to go read Jane Austen, and then I didn't. That's the worst use of 120 grand I can possibly fathom. Other than if you bought a duffel bag of fake cocaine. No, I take it back. That's a better use of the money. Because I know you'd be disappointed when you open up the duffel bag and you realize it's not real cocaine, it's like powdered baby aspirin or whatever they do. But at least you have baby aspirin. And maybe you have a baby. And one day your baby goes, oh, my head. And you go, hey, I got something for you. Come here, little guy. And you dump it out on a mirror. You make it nice for the baby. You make it nice. You cut it up into lines with your laundry cart or whatever, and you make it nice. And your baby takes his sippy cup straw, and he holds it in his little ravioli-sized baby fist, and he leans over, and he snorks up the baby aspirin, and he gets rid of his baby headache, plus you get a duffel bag. That is way better than walking across a stage at graduation, hung over in a gown, to accept a certificate for reading books that I didn't read. Strolling across a stage, the sun in my eyes, my family watching as I sweat vodka and ecstasy, to receive a 4-year degree in a language that I already spoke.
Now let's laugh with Hassan Minhaj.
I was in the gym recently. You ever go to the gym and like you see these like couples? They like work out together. They wear like matching clothes. They try to be healthy together. I know it's bullshit. It's overrated. I saw this girl and like her douchebag boyfriend, and they were arguing back and forth. This guy was like very douchey. Like he's wearing one of those like frat sweatshirts. It was like Kappa Sigma fag, just like boom. I'm a douchebag. Hear me roar. I like Ed Hardy and racism, right? And they're like arguing back and forth for no reason. I wear polo shirts 2 at a time. That's me, right? They're like arguing for no reason. The guy was like, Bethany, don't yell at me. Someone might see us. Ugh, right? Because that's how like douchebags talk. And the girl, she like glanced around his shoulder, like looked at me, like acknowledged my existence, and was like, don't worry, Brad, no one is here. That's messed up. Because it was 2 o'clock in the morning. There were only 3 of us at the gym. Us 3. But I believe in karma, so later on, I was in the girls' locker room watching her shower. And she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, don't worry, Bethany, no one is here. Keep showering. And that is why I'm single. Here's the reason, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm single because I can't take bad news in stride anymore. My little heart can't take it anymore, ladies. Like the other day I found out my ex-girlfriend was talking smack about me behind my back. I know. Me. Hassan Minhaj. .com, look me up, all right? She was on the phone with one of her friends, the audacity. She's like, oh my God, Hassan's so weird. He's so creepy. I think he's a stalker. And that's when I walked out of her bedroom closet and I was like, listen, biatch, do not talk smack about me, okay? Here's the line, you cross it, don't bite off when you can shoot, sister. And she's like, why are you in my closet? I'm like, why are you talking shit, right? First things first. She's like, why are you wearing my panties? I'm like, why are you changing the subject? I look good in these, answer my questions, woman. She's like, are you crying? And I'm like, no, what? Hassan Minhaj doesn't cry, okay? Your insensitivity just got in my eye, that's all. I don't cry ever. I miss you so much. And I threw up in her closet. You guys ever do that? No, just me? Okay, TMI, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have shared that with you guys. Too much information. Let me ask you guys a question. If you could live during any period of time in the past, when would it be? Just yell it out anytime. Middle Earth. That doesn't exist. That's not real. That's in Lord of the Rings. If you could live during any real period of time, a non-fictional period of time, when would it be? 70s, that's wrong. Look, I think the best time to be a guy, hands down, Salem, Massachusetts, early to mid 1700s. Best time to be a guy. You could pull any girl. Not a whole lot of single men back then. Go up to anyone. Hey, Agnes. You, me, lunch this afternoon. She'd be like, no. You'd be like, really? Which? She's like, I don't even know you. It's like, look, make up your mind, Agnes. It's either steak or steak tonight. Your choice. 20 minutes. Call me. You're either eating it or hanging from it. You have 20 minutes. I have a time machine to get to. I have no time for your shenanigans, Agnes.
Fellas, don't you hate it when you're on a bad day? Well, let's hear it with Chad Daniels.
I've also told my son that if he's on a date and it's not going well and he doesn't want a second date, but the girl wants to kiss him at the end of that date, well, just don't. Because that's going to be a real awkward situation later on. It's going to be awkward for sure in those 5 minutes. But that's okay. That's 5 minutes. You don't want to have that shit go on forever. And if you don't believe me, why don't you call Aziz, see what he thinks about it. That come out of the mic wrong? What happened? Aziz got in trouble. for having a bad date. He's a famous comedian, for those of you that don't know. And there was a girl that he went on a date with, and he wanted to have sex with that girl, and she wanted a famous boyfriend, and neither of that worked. There is so much dumb on both sides of this story, it is mind-blowing to me. For those of you that never read the article, here's what happened. They got home from dinner, she sat on his kitchen counter, and then they both agreed that he was going to put his this part on her this part. Immediately when they got home. It's like a kid hitting a ball at Little League and running right to third. I mean, yeah, it's adorable, but there are rules here. Then they both agreed that she was going to put her this part on his this part 2 times. Gentlemen, I think we can all agree that no means no every single time. But what about? Even then for sure. But then ladies, you also have to agree that no one can hear you saying no when you voluntarily put their dick in your mouth 2 times. In the article, she was quoted as saying, he wasn't getting my non-verbal cues. Well, where I'm from, sucking a dick is not a good one. I'm not having any fun. I mean, that is not how you call Uber. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows. It's an app.
If you ever need a friend, you can always count on Jimmy or Yang.
You gotta love the people around you. You gotta be nice to the people around you. Your partner, your family, your friends. You gotta keep your day ones around, man. You know, everybody when I was coming up in the game, they gave me this advice. They're like, hey, Jimmy, you wanna be successful? Hang out with successful people. Because birds of a feather flock together. That's right, man, that's right. You guys heard this before, right? It's fucking bullshit, okay? Successful people are so boring. I hung out with successful people. They got a successful job. They got a successful family. They don't have time to hang out with your mediocre ass. So my real advice to everyone is to find yourself more loser friends. That's right, that's right, that's right. I see some of you guys clapping. The ones that are not, you're probably the loser friend, which is fine. I love you. I love you. I love all my friends, man. All my day ones. I used to live in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 comedians. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I was proud of that. It was all good. They still my close friends. One of my best friends, his name is Guam Felix. Yeah, he's a comedian. He's named after the island he was born on, Guam. Like, you know you kind of hood when you're named after the island you were born on. Like, if I came out tonight and they introduced me as Hong Kong Jimmy, I'll probably be selling drugs outside, you know what I mean? But Guam's one of my greatest friends, man. He's just a good dude. He's just a happy-go-around guy, you know? He trashed in my living room for months. And I asked him, like, hey, Guam, you got any plans? You gonna go get a job or something? He was like, nah, dog. I'm gonna get on that government disability, homie. And I'm like, okay, are you disabled? He was like, yeah, I think so, dog. I threw out my back when I was 19, homie. I'm like, okay, you're 42 right now. I don't think that's gonna work out for you. See, Guam is great. He lives by the creed where anything good that happens to him, he makes sure to thank God, right? That's great. And anything bad that happens to him, he makes sure to blame the government. It's a great way to live, that when you take 0 personal responsibility. Like, he'll say shit like, oh, damn, they gave me a speeding ticket and took away my license, dog. You see, that's how the government fucks you. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that's how you fuck yourself. And then on the positive side, he'll say things like, I just want to thank God because he let me stay with you, dog. I'm like, no, you should thank me, motherfucker. I let you stay with me. But I love Guam, man. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy. Doesn't have a lot of ambition in life. His dream in life is to win the lottery. His catchphrase is, when I win the lottery, dog. But he doesn't have good goals for when he does win the lottery, because he'll say shit like, when I win the lottery, we going to the buffet, dog. I'm like, Guam, we can do that right now, bro. But Guam was a man of his word. Not only would he buy lottery tickets, he stood in line in every single game show in LA to try to win his lottery. And he finally got on this game show called Let's Make a Deal. Have you guys seen that? Yeah, it's the show that comes on, hosted by Wayne Brady before The Price is Right. But in order to get on that show, you have to wear a costume. And Guam is like a big Pacific Islander, brother. So his costume options were limited. He could either be Moana or The Rock, you know? So he decided to make his own costume. He cut up a blue bed sheet, draped it over his body, and then he got a Chinese rice patty hat, and he just wore it. And I'm like, Guam, what the fuck? What, he dressed up as Ho Chi Minh or some shit? And he was like, no, dog, I'm Master Raiden for Mortal Kombat, homie. This is a true story. He went on national TV dressed up as Master Raiden. And it's actually an inspirational story. He actually won. Yeah. He won the big deal of the day. It was a $5,000 living room set, which was perfect for my living room. But he dreamed big. He wanted to win his big prize. So he traded it in for the super deal of the week. And I'm like, this fucking idiot. He traded it in for 1 out of 3 chance to win $50,000 cash. One of the biggest prizes on a show ever. And he won. That was his lottery. His dream came true. I was watching TV. It's the most magical moment. Money started falling down on his rice patty hat. And he was so happy. He started doing jumping jacks and shit. And started swimming in the pool of money. And I was watching. I'm like, I knew this motherfucker's not disabled. Look at him. He's very capable. And he started crying on national TV. He was so happy. And Wayne Brady was like, Guam, congratulations. What are you going to do with that $50,000? And he was like, we go to the buffet, dog. Right. That's a good friend, man. That's why you keep your friends around. He went from the biggest loser I knew to the biggest winner I knew. Took care of all his boys, took us to a lot of buffets. He even took us to the fanciest restaurant he knew, Buca de Beppo. It was awesome. He was balling. But that money didn't last long. That 50 grand lasted about 3 months. And not only that, he didn't pay any taxes on it. So now he owes the IRS another 20 on top of that shit. And I'm like, Guam, this is horrible. You're worse off than you ever were. And all he said to me was like, see, that's how the government fucks you, dog. That's right. Keep your close friends around. And save your money, people.
Let's shout out to the Comedy Store for producing some of the funniest comedians, which includes Adam Ray.
My nephew had a weird COVID. He's 7 years old. This kid, I can't wait to smoke pot with him. He's just, I can just already tell he's gonna do drugs, and I'm very excited. He headbutts the fridge a lot. He dry humps the couch to make me laugh. He's a fucking idiot. He's gonna be one of these adults that's like, yeah, I'm more street smart than book smart, and you're like, you didn't graduate. Thanks for letting us know. That was a clever way to phrase that. Fucking dumb. He dry humps the couch. It's very funny. Like, the kid has a comedic sensibility, and he reads. You know, he's got timing. He understands when to go. He'll just see me and go, Uncle Adam, I know you like this shit, and just start humping the couch and starts laughing till he cries, and then I laugh, and then I'm like, dude, this is so funny, but can you not look me dead in the eyes while you do it? It's my one qualm about what's happening right now. And he's pitching me jokes. I never thought he would start pitching me jokes. At 7, to understand that he has a sensibility comedically is way cooler than I anticipated. He's got the beginning and middle of how jokes should go. How things should wrap up strong, still somewhat of a mystery to him. God bless him, but he's throwing darts. That's half the battle, is make the attempt to be like, Uncle Adam, I got some jokes for your shows. Ready? Why'd the chicken cross the road? I'm like, dude, I would love to hear your take on this age-old tale. Why did the chicken cross the road? Verbatim, he goes, 'cause he had to take a fucking shit. Yep, hilarious, right out of the gate. And relatable, we've all had to take a fucking shit at some point. What was special about this chicken's afternoon? And if you're wondering where that language is coming from, that F-bomb, his dad, my brother-in-law, is a white rapper named Dirte. So that's where he picked that up. Yeah, I'll say that one more time for the viewers at home. My brother-in-law is a white rapper who's not Eminem, and his name is Dirte. My sister's getting fucked by Dirte. How's your 2022 going so far? When your sister comes home and is like, oh my God, I met someone special, the next words out of your mouth usually aren't, I hope it's a semi-locally famous rapper named Dirte. I hope he talks about opening for DMX once all the time. Good guy, took us a beat to get on the same page. When I first met him, I was like, Dirte, you got the face of a dad whose kids call you by your first name. And that's not a compliment. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that assessment, because we all know these types of dads. They don't command the amount of respect they desire. When they're like, all right, boys, time for bed, the kids are like, fuck you, Dustin. And he's like, all right, I'll be in the garage. Maybe you'll call me dad on my birthday. Why'd the chicken cross the road? Because he had to take a fucking shit, right? So now I'm playing devil's advocate. I understand this might be a passion for him. I want to make sure he gets on the right path. I'm like, Jackson, why didn't the chicken take a shit on the side of the street he was on? And he looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, because the toilet was on the other side, Uncle Adam. Adorable as shit. I'm like, I can't argue that. Yeah. And then I could feel him panic for a close, and he just goes, what are you, gay? I was like, what the fuck? Is that the punchline, you piece of shit? Just panic and say the first offensive thing you can think of? And then he just looks at me and goes, like and subscribe, and walked out of the room. And I was like, that's the future of comedy right there. Just say confusing shit and leave before anyone can call you out for it.
Let's end this episode with a good song. Hit it, Bo Burnham.
I believe in the Zodiac. Yeah, I do. I'm a Leo. I love Titanic. This is something a little bit morbidly ironic. My grandmother, she was a Cancer, and she was actually killed by a giant crab. This is a song about the idea of irony, so strap in. My dog's stomach was very upset, so I put him in the car and we went to the vet. And on our way to the vet, I killed a cat. Hey, I said, isn't that ironic? I adopted a child from overseas to rescue him from child labor factories. And on his very first birthday, we went to build a bear workshop. Isn't that IRONICINORIRONIC? Water park is burned to the ground and a tow truck has broken down. I always used to cry when I laughed, and then I was raped by a clown. It's ironic. I was watching Al Gore on CNN. He was talking and talking and talking, and then, out of boredom, my pet polar bear shot himself. Isn't that ironic? I dated an animal rights activist, and one day she got really pissed because I was eating veal that was wrapped in pita bread. Pita? Fuck it. Isn't that I'm a stand-up comic and I always sit and slouch, and I got my girlfriend pregnant on my sterile uncle's pull-out couch. Ironic. IRONIC. Yeah, if every day you play the board game Risk, you've probably never taken a risk in your life. And Monopoly has far from a stranglehold on the board game market. A little kid died from suffocation when he choked on a game piece from Operation. And I can't grow a beard. That one's not ironic. That one's just sad. Bob Barker got all of my pets pregnant.
My grandfather had Alzheimer's, and one day we were...
Hope you had a good laugh. See you later.